when I can talk. Right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. A warm welcome to episode 3 of an attempt at the sports show with myself, Dalin Oliver, and my homeboy and fairly accomplished, award-winning sports journalist, as well as Brian Master, Brian Knowledger from Mitchell's Plain and Crawford. And for those of you that don't know, he was Mr. Talkie in 2007. A very big time in his life. Carl Lewis, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, Dalin. Don't say I'm a Brian Master or anything like that, because most of my close friends would laugh at you. So we need to organize a bride together soon, because you clearly... Yeah, look, but I'm good, enjoying lockdown.
That's good, but when I say Brian Master, I'll rephrase it. I'll call it the sports talk Brian Master, because you that's standing around talking to strangers as they come there, you're like, yeah, did you see the football over the weekend? What do you think about the rugby that happened? Cricket's amazing. And then you just spit the facts.
That really is me, though.
I know, I'm your brother. That's why I'm telling you that. So listen here. This is new for us. We moved from Zoom because we couldn't afford the long version to Skype. So anything can happen.
Yeah, Clyde is our producer, Clyde, who works hard. He has told us, he's very nervous about the show. So he told us to put up this disclaimer. So if there's any technical issues, you can blame him. Can you put his number in the comments as well? Because if there's anything that goes wrong, it's Clyde.
100%. We'll see and make sure that Clyde is held accountable. We started 2 minutes after 8 or 3 minutes because Clyde was still looking for inches. He's ran out of inches. He's got tabak. That's all he's got now, and he's making it work. I'm not a smoker. Is tabak the right word, Carl?
I guess so. I guess you could say that. Or you could just say tobacco.
Yeah, but I almost want to feel like I'm part of my retreat culture, like the brasso on the corner. But I'll say tobacco for you. So again, format of the show, we're sticking to the same one as per usual, right?
Yeah, just for those who haven't watched, the format is we select a couple of topics, or 6 we got today, and there's 3 minutes that we spend on each topic. Unfortunately, today we don't have our timer because we've moved from Zoom to Skype. We don't have the countdown, but Dalin does have his phone there. So we'll have 3 minutes on each topic that we cover, and then we quickly move on. And Dalin, you want to speak to them about a new addition to our show today, or a new element of our show?
I would say element and addition. I am so excited. It's a big day for us. We moved to a new live streaming platform, and then we get our very first guest on the show, one of our favorites, one of SF's favorites. We watched him while growing up. Big fan of his former Protea.
He's 3 years older than us. Stop saying that.
But still, if I grew up watching 3 years, but I'm 31. How old do you think I am? I know I look 45, but don't make me age. Anyway, Rory Kleinveld is joining us, which is a big deal. We're very excited about it. And he's going to be in halfway through the show. So if you do have any questions for Rory, please pop it in the comment section. I know there's tons of cricket fans from St. Augustine's, his former club, Victoria Cricket Club, that is listening and watching. So if you have any cues, throw it out there. And if you're a Newcastle fan, Rory's a big Newcastle fan. So please let us know why you support Newcastle and why you've joined Rory in the plight for attaining disappointment on a bi-weekly or bi-monthly basis.
Yeah, definitely. And also, Dalin, also for comments or opinions from any of the viewers on any of the topics we discuss, we're more than happy to look at them. I always find that's one of my favorite parts of the show.
Well, Carl, it's your birthday today and it's Christmas. It was Eid on Monday, so I'm going to give you something extra. Jacob Small, one of our regular listeners, says, I'm excited about the EPL starting in a few weeks. June 17th day.
Yes. What great news for the football world. Also, on top of that, Serie A is also back around the same time next month. So for those who have DStv Premium, we'll be living the life in June. So great news, not only for the football world, but I think just for the world of sport. And I feel like a little bit of sport brings that family balance, keeps people keeps people occupied and gives people some time off. So I just feel like it will bring a whole new dimension to this whole lockdown vibe that we're on.
And it also adds mention for DSTV, they can now stop SMSing us who have the package to say, here's a free movie on box office. We don't want a free movie. We watched it on another streaming platform because you don't give us the latest stuff. Please give us sport. So that's good. Before we go into the week's topics, Kenwin Davids also says, yeah, I'm a Newcastle fan because of Shearer and Janola.
David Ginola. He was a cult hero there. He's a Geordie cult hero.
Oh, legit? I need to find out more when we chat to Rory.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
so
will,
yeah, no, say please.
No, we can speak about David Ginola a bit later because I could actually talk about him for a long time. He's flowing, strawberry blonde hair. He's brilliant skills. He was a top player. A very.
You can't mention strawberry blonde hair and say you're going to talk about it later. That means you have to talk about it now, even if it's a quick snippet.
Okay, well, I mean, he was one of that enigmatic players who could do anything on the field, win you a game in a moment like that. But weirdly enough, he didn't play much for France, and he never ever won a Premier League or played for a top club. Sorry for the Newcastle and Spurs fans, but interesting player.
Yes, you led with enigmatic. When someone leads with that, it means that the player is worth his salt. They've earned their keep. So respect to that. Listen, we're going to move from footy straight into rugby as we start our first topic. I'm starting our revolutionary time over here. Big one over the past couple where it seems like the New Zealand lads and the Australian lads are not keen on having South Africa as part of Super Rugby anymore. They're not keen on having us part of the rugby space with Stanza. They want to move on their own as a trans-Tasmanian space and just have leagues on their own and saying, SA, you're either going to the Northern Hemisphere or you're staying in the South and creating your own platform.
Yeah, very, very interesting. But weirdly enough, this agenda has been driven for quite some time now. Andrew Mertens, you remember the All Black Flower? He's been driving this agenda for a few years now, and there seems to be a couple of more Australian and New Zealanders on board, Michael Hooper. So basically what they want to do is they want to create a tournament just for them, Australia and New Zealand, perhaps moving into the Pacific Islands and Asia. And the whole reasoning is about time zones, which makes sense. I get that. I mean, if the Blues are playing here in Cape Town at 5 o'clock at Newlands, they have to watch it at 3 o'clock in Auckland. So you can understand that, where they want to get a tournament where it's structured better. However, the one thing about that is the pulling power of the South African TV audience. We offer the money. We are where the money is at. SuperSports money is I wouldn't say underpinning it, but it's a big part of why Super Rugby, why the Aussies can have 4 teams, and why Super Rugby is such a, I wouldn't say that it's a rich sport, but I mean, they make enough money and they get enough money from broadcast rights. So to kind of kick us out in favor of this trans-Tasman thing, they might be biting themselves in the foot in the long run financially.
And the scary thing about it is that with COVID-19, both countries are testing their domestic competition. So they'll have an idea of whether or not it can work and if it's going to be viable. Similarly, in South Africa, look, the plus side of things, Carl, is that the time zone is one, but also you could have players from the north who play for the Springboks, running out against your local lads or playing for the Lions, the Stormers, which could be a good thing for numbers as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because the other option for us, if they try and do the Trans-Tasman tournament, is say hello to the Northern Hemisphere and join the Heineken Cup or the Gallagher Premiership. I mean, we already have 2 teams, the Kings and the Cheetahs, in the Pro 14 competition, which is played between Italy, Wales, Ireland, and Scotland clubs. So, I mean, the money, first of all, would be worth it for us, and also the travel times and timing schedules. Our guest later, he'll tell you a trip to Australia is taxing on the body, whereas going to London in the same time zones might be more palatable for South Africa. And obviously, that pounds we would be earning in broadcast money could also be something special. And now that we are selecting players who are playing in Europe, it might just structure very nicely and make it easier to select players.
To wrap up this one, though, Lewis, Springboks, Wallabies, All Blacks, historically 3 big teams, traditions, lots of them, rugby championship, tests across the year. we can't break that tradition financially. You have your All Blacks coming here, your Wallabies coming here, filling out stadiums. It's going to break that relationship if we do sign it off.
No, big time, Dalin. I think that's the biggest thing. If the thing that will hurt us the most is not playing New Zealand and Australia every year. I think that's what keeps South African rugby and Southern Hemisphere rugby strong. Because if Australia isn't having, if they don't have strong competition, I'm worried about Australian rugby. I mean, they're on their last legs at the moment financially, first of all, and the player drain has been insane. If they don't select their players from overseas, I'm sorry, Australia is just, I just see them going down and down. Although the under 20s from a year or two ago is quite a talented bunch. So maybe I shouldn't be writing them off, but financially, I do worry for them. Australian rugby.
It's funny you say down and down because they down under, but that's where their rugby's been going for the past couple of years. We throw in boarding jokes as well, ladies and gentlemen. We all have cheese. We stay with rugby, Carl Lewis. I love this. In the show prep, you sent myself and our producer Clyde an email that says, topic 2, SA Rugby's dearth of talent. You use dearth in a sentence. I want you to flourish here, bruh. Flourish.
But we do have a dearth of talent. South Africa is stacked with ridiculously good rugby players. And I mean, even if you're not a rugby fanatic, you can kind of see the talent that South Africa has. And I'm not talking Springboks. For example, let's just go to the Stormers. And then after signing Warwick Gelant, they actually have a very talented spine of the team. Okay, Bongi Mbanabi's 29. That's fine. But you got Salman Marat in the second row. He's 21, youngster from Cape Town. Then you got Joano Augustus at 8. Then you got Herschel Yankees at 9. Damon Willems at 10. Rikus Pretorius at 12. And then you got Warwick Gelant, the new signing at the back. And the reason why I like this team is very representative of the Cape in terms of demographics, first of all. But it's a hell of a team and a hell of a spine and something you can build. I don't want to say a dynasty because the Stormers hasn't won the bloody Super Rugby, but you can really build something special with that spine.
You can build a spine that will dominate at home and with fingers crossed that they win away. I say that out of love, guys. My blood is blue and white through and through. The big question, though, what's the reason for the Cape being so special across all sports? If you look at cricket, football, rugby, franchises, teams, etc., there's so many Cape Town-based players who've either moved or have moved during their career or have started in the mother city. Why is it such a special breeding ground, Carl?
Sure, that's a very interesting. That's a very interesting question. I reckon I would say that I feel like it's a cultural thing, first of all. I think the Cape is very into their sport. Whether you're talking about the southern suburbs, the northern suburbs, if you want to include the winelands as well. People are sport mad in Paul Stellenbosch. Mad. Yes. And super talented. And even if you want to go up further to southwestern districts, I think this whole kind of Western Cape region is just a hub for sports. The passion is there, and it's bred within our culture. I remember just playing with my cousins throughout my childhood. I feel like that's just part and parcel of the Cape. But getting back to the talented rugby players, last year we also had a talented bunch of junior box, although we lost in the final, I think. But there's really a talented, the captain, and I mean from all demographics, Captain Pepsi Buthelezi at 6. Then you have Jaden Hendrickse, the number 9. He's playing at the Sharks now. JJ van der Mesh, an enormous lock for his age. I mentioned Rikus Pretorius, who's playing for the Stormers. But we are just loaded with talent. So, and I feel we have the right man in Rassie Erasmus as director of rugby, who is putting this all together. And I really have high hopes for South African rugby for the next, the next cycle, the next 4 years.
A dearth of talent in SA Rugby, as Carl Lewis says. For the locals, Star Wars fans of Darth Vader. That's a whole other story. We keep cheese coming later. Okay, let's move to football here. I've learned a few German words over the past couple of weeks since the Bundesliga. The Munich fans are over the moon. They're 7 points clear at the top of the table. They beat Dortmund, who was second, now trailing them by quite a bit. Munich in line for the 8th title. Pure dominance.
Yeah, I must say I'm a bit disappointed because I really wanted a bit more fight from from the likes of Dortmund and RB Leipzig.
Yeah.
First of all, I think you skipped a topic, by the way, Dalin. I'm
Yes.
just saying, I'm looking at our producer, Clyde, but we've changed that.
Okay.
I'm very...
We're very professional here, Carl. We're very professional.
Yeah. But getting back to the Bundesliga, I'm very disappointed by the tameness of the title challenge of Borussia Dortmund, first of all, and RB Leipzig. Look, they don't have the money of Munich. I understand that. But, I mean, Bayern gave them an opportunity earlier this season before they fired their coach, Niko Kovac. The other teams were ahead of them. And now under their new coach, Hansi Flick, who I give all the credit to, he's won 15 out of his first 18 league matches, which is a record held by Pep Guardiola there. So I'm a bit disappointed that the Bundesliga is kind of going down this usual route, traditional route of Bayern dominating and winning. I'd have loved the challenge from Dortmund and Leipzig, even Borussia Mönchengladbach, who were the stars of the show early season, who play this fantastic brand of football, a very easy on the eye, sexy football. But yeah, I guess that's the Bundesliga, you know. You could have a lot of youngsters, a lot of teams playing amazing football, high octane football. But in the end, you know, Bayern's going to win, which is a bit disappointing.
Yeah. Six games to go. Do you think anyone can catch up with him? While Dortmund closest rivals. Any slip up?
Like if obviously my answer has to be no, because their closest rivals was Dortmund, who I feel tried their best, but Bayern just had them at arm's length, and they're just too good. But you can understand that Bayern is the richest club, and they buy the best players. They absorb all the best players in the Bundesliga. So that's life, I guess.
I hear you. You know what? Just from a South African perspective, my favorite word that I've learned over the past few while watching the Bundesliga is not Cologne, not that football side. No, Köln. For some reason, they decided to put two copies on the E and have an L there, and then in German have it a silent L. Who says Köln? Like, do you have to put on a Schwarzenegger accent as you try to say the name of this team, Carl? I'm just saying, Germany didn't have to make saying names so difficult as a fan, okay?
But there are some spellings of how you would spell Cologne. Usually spell the word Cologne. They do spell it like that sometimes. So you can just say Cologne. I think you're trying to be a bit too technical.
I'm saying Köln. I want to shout Köln. Who did they play? Köln. Anyway, back to the topic that was supposed to be the topic. This is a big one. It's been trending in South Africa over the past couple of years. A lot of locals are, I don't know, on either side of the fence. Cricket-wise, rugby-wise, should our players be taking contracts overseas? Big debate. Where do you stand?
I want to end this debate. I could end this debate in 15 minutes, Dalin.
Yes.
And just say, this is their jobs. Let these people earn the money that they feel they deserve and let them go. Don't worry about patriotism. Don't let people put pressure on you. Go get your money. Secure your bag. That's what I would say.
At what age, though? Because at some point, especially with cricket, you want to represent the Proteas. I know rugby-wise, we changed the rule so that the lads can play overseas and play for the Bokke. But you want to play for the badge. It's a big deal.
No, fair on that front. As a cricketer, I don't think you have much choice. Although, I mean, you could do if you want to be an international cricketer, you could do 2-3 month stints in the UK to kind of supplement your cricket year in South Africa. But in terms of players that are thinking of Kolpak and thinking of their financial future, I'm okay with that. Like, even though I didn't like Dwayne Olivier saying, listen, I would like to represent England, it left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. But at the end of the day, he has a young family. I can understand. You want to go there, you've been offered pounds, and you look at that exchange rate and you're like, nah, bro, you're doing the right thing, sir. That exchange rate is way too good to say no. What do you think about this?
Bro, for me, first up, I think the badge always comes in because growing up as a youngster, that's the first point of call. You want to play for your country. I do think that there's a time period on it. So realistically, guys will look at it and say, projection-wise, do I have to make the tough decision? Cheslin Kolbe, for example, he made the tough call. Things flip. He's representing the Springboks at the World Cup and having a great time, right? From a cricket perspective, it's scary, but I would, if I was playing at the moment, right? That's a big statement, being Patrick of the Year in retreat in 2002. I would give myself until the stage where I'm not dominating domestically
Yeah.
and even have conversation
Yeah.
CSA or SARU and haven't been in a boardroom. You also have to be realistic about it. Is it going to happen?
I hear you. I hear you. I just want to get back to the rugby players. You mentioned Cheslin, and we should also mention like someone like Faf de Klerk. There's also, besides earning good money, there's also this growth that comes with perhaps playing overseas, especially if you're in a good environment overseas. You might learn new things, learn
Yes.
new winning habits, blah blah. Like you look at Cheslin Kolbe, he was always talented, but it seemed he had to go to France to be recognized. Look, we actually have a phenomenal talent on our hands. Why is he not there? Same with Faf de Klerk. He had that horrible season under Alistair Coetzee. Dropped from the box, goes off to Sale Sharks. The man's a World Cup winner in 2019 after 1 year at Sale Sharks. So I'm not saying it is because of Sale, but I think there is value in learning, getting out of your comfort zone and going overseas. And I would say that about not only sport, but any profession. I think us as South Africans must not be shy of maybe spending a few years abroad, whatever that profession may be. I think there is a growth element in that.
Yes. Don't you dare tell that to Cape Townians. We're scared to leave Cape Town. Cape Townians, if you go to Joburg, they're like, yo, my bro, you went to Joburg. Yo, that's why. Even though it's like the 2-hour flight, we take it for granted. But this is for Cape Townians. Get out of your comfort zone. Don't be scared. You will learn new things. I mean, a lot of people don't know this about Puff. When he arrived at Fluff, yeah, they gave him that South African Oni on his arrival, and they said, let the force be with you. And look at it. I'm making that fact up now, but I'm hoping it was something like that.
Can I just say one more thing before? I also want to make it clear that I don't have a problem with comfort zones, because I feel like there's a war on comfort at the moment. People are not allowing people to be comfortable. What if I just want to chill for 2 minutes? So I just want to make that clear that I'm not anti-comfort zone.
Yes, yes. That's a very, very good point, Carl. Which cricketer's book was out of my comfort zone?
Was that Marcus Triscothic?
I have no idea. I'm asking you.
No.
It's not,
Okay.
It's local. It's
Wait.
a local. I think our guest might know. Let's wait until we get him in. Right? So think about
because Herschel's was to the point, wasn't it?
Yes, but backward, because some of those paragraphs were backward point. I think we'll get out of our comfort zone before the end of the episode. Okay. So listen, you talk about out of your comfort zone. This next sport is definitely something that's nowhere near normal. Marbles and the tournament. Lewis, blow my mind. Explain this to me, please. Why is Gattis being shown nationally? Why is Gattis and skokking and kniping a thing? Please tell me why.
Okay, so this Marble League has actually been going for years, right? And only now that there is actually no live sport, it's come to the fore. So they have an actual league teams with actual individuals, and all of these individuals and teams have backstories. It's quite fascinating. I wish I gave Clyde the link for people to see, but also, so they've been struggling financially now for a year or two. So I'm sure you know who John Oliver is. He hosts Last Week Tonight. So he is now the official sponsor of the Marble League.
Are you serious?
So, yes, they needed a sponsor to keep going because he was so. Yeah, they've created in this marble world. They've created a whole nother universe where these marbles have characters, and the fans they hate certain marbles. It's quite interesting, and it's a good laugh. I'm not gonna lie.
Listen, John Oliver, I know you're watching this because you're cool like that. He's a lighty from Retreat and Crawford and Mitchell's Plain who still have Power Ranger gongs and ironies from back in the day. If you're keen to fly us over as your Reach for the Dream project, we are here and we would like to participate in the Marbles tournament. We would also like to hear you say Gattis. And the classic phrase called, were you told this as a kid? Gattis is ikosi.
Dalin, I went to Saks.
So what Gattis? Marbles isn't food, man. So what What gatis asikosi means is that when you're losing or when you're winning, the marbles isn't food. Don't hold on to it, my bro. Relax. If you win it, if you lose it, it's fine. Don't stress. Don't cry about it. So gatis asikosi. That's what
But
I will leave you with.
my last thing on that, please tell for the listeners, check out John Oliver's insert on sports that he did, I think 2 weeks ago. But also Google the Marble League. It's genuinely interesting if you're into
Nice.
weird stuff.
Okay, fantastic. Before we head into our quarantine topics, what to watch, just want to remind the listeners, Rory Kleinveld joins us in the next couple of minutes. So if you have any questions for Rory, any shout outs you want to give to him, please let us know. Drop it on the comment section. We appreciate all of you. Nicholas Manuel, Jacob Small, Kenwin Kurt Davids for watching, as well as Ashraf Ali. So, Lewis, you spoke to me about the last dance. Then we spoke about some F1 action that you've been watching. What's on the list of things to binge on this week?
Okay, there's a few other things. First of all, I just finished the test this week. So it's a documentary about it follows the Australian team post Sandpaper Gate here at Newlands, and it's brilliantly done, brilliantly told. I like Justin Langer, who's their coach. It puts him in such a good light, as it does Tim Payne. But my biggest issue, not my biggest issue, what was going on in my head watching this, I'm like, why the hell has South Africa not thought of doing something like this? It's such an easy win in terms of PR, getting the country behind you. Because I felt an association to Langer, to even Steve Smith. I mean, he came back. I felt sorry for him, and I wanted him to succeed. And I think it would be such an easy win for Cricket South Africa just to get on this. So yeah.
I hear you.
The test.
The test. That's the thing to watch. A lot of cricketers have been telling me I must go watch it. Just to confirm, they don't talk about Manus Labuschagne in it. That's before his time.
They do. They do talk about it. And the reason why I liked it because Manus Labuschagne or Labuschagne, he's a very
setting you up. He's Labuschagne. He's from Klerksdorp. There's no Labuschagne in Klerksdorp. Come now.
No, he has told you to call him Labuschagne. So please don't disrespect the man. I'm actually upset.
You know what I want out of this? First, tell us, what did they mention about him? Because he had a fantastic year. Let's not take that away.
Yeah, and it honestly makes sense. They were like, he was all, they kind of painted it like he was Steve Smith's skivvy. Like he would just be next to Steve Smith all the time. Because Steve Smith is a cricket nut and obsessed. He's always playing air cricket, and Manus Labuschagne is the same. So when you see the year that Labuschagne had thereafter, it makes sense. He was in the runs just like Steve Smith, you know. So it was good to have that insight. But I would love South Africa to do this on the Proteas on one of their tours. Like, for instance, the summer where we beat India and then Australia in a test series. That was such a beautiful cricketing summer. It would have been great to package that and have behind the scenes. I mean, the Warner, the Sandpaper Gate. I mean, it was heated for the Indians too. So, yeah, a missed opportunity.
Having Goza, Warner, love that. Come hard. Just for the expats in Australia who are watching, because I know you're out there, if you do see Manus, just tap him on the shoulder and say, Manus, say me what your name is. That's all I want you to ask him. That's all.
Oh, okay. I must say, yeah, you Labuschagne, man. It's not Labuschagne.
Yes. So, Lewis, that's how we wrap up our formal topics for the week, if you could call it that. And I'm very excited now as we intro our next guest and our first guest for the show. I shouldn't say our next guest. I would like you to do the honors if you're fine with that. If you're not, let me do it. But as a batsman, a top order batsman who could possibly have faced this man during a club cricket match, I think that it's only fair that you describe the emotion that you felt prior to facing him or prior to knowing that you might face him on a very flat but quick St. Augustine's wicket in the morning, coming in at number 3.
Well, as Dalin said earlier, our guest, he's an international cricketer. He can't seem to get his camera right for this session, but we'll wait for him.
Battery is dying.
He's an international cricketer, a Cape Cobra's legend. He's played overseas, massive Newcastle fan. Interestingly, both Dalin and I played against him. I remember I was playing for UWC, and I was very tentative, and then I hit him for a 4, and then I was going like this, and he was like, "Look at this, the bro thinks he's KP," and I really did think I was KP doing this with my. So that was how I got introduced to Rory Kleinveld, and I think me and you on the same team played against him for Victoria when he came back from club cricket.
Yes.
I dropped him on the boundary as well, and that meant Victoria weren't relegated. But yeah, I think, and he's also the second highest franchise wicket taker in history. I think Simon Harmer is number 1, and Rory Kleinveld is second, I think. So he's an icon, a legend of the South African game. Welcome, Rory.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Lovely little intro there. Thank you, Paul. Jeez, painting in a lovely light there.
Rory, I want to ask you this question. If you had to select, there's only one spot open, there's a number 5 slot. Would you select Dalin or me? Who would it be?
I think Dalin offers a few dirty leggies, doesn't he? So I think I'm going to go with Dalin.
Yes.
Sorry, Carl.
Clyde, we can end it now. It's done. Thanks, bro.
That you think about leg spinners. I appreciate that, Rory. That is very flattening. It comes out to the back of the hand, but it doesn't spin. It just goes straight. I can't explain.
Look, Anil Kumble made a career out of that.
There we go, bruh. Paul Harris? Was it Paul Harris?
Chris Harris.
There we go.
Yeah.
New Zealand. But back to you, Rory. You're the star of the show. First up, lockdown. You're surviving. You're coping.
Yeah, it's been tough. Basically, like I said earlier, I'm a glorified house dad, house husband. Just been chasing after my 1-year-old, trying to keep him out of trouble, trying to keep him from smashing the house up, basically. But yeah, it's been good. Nice to spend time with the family. As you know, when you're playing cricket, you're on quite a bit. So yeah, it's nice to have some time at home and chill with the kids.
Rory, I think you just recently retired, and I think we need to touch on that. You played cricket at the top level for so long. Your reason for saying goodbye to the game?
I just had enough. This big body, practice was starting to get tedious for me, and that's when I thought, no, I think I've had enough here. Just wasn't enjoying fielding, wasn't enjoying practices, and yeah, that's when I knew I've reached the end of my cricket career.
And I think Carl shares when we say that we're excited to see you getting part and giving back to the local game by heading up to Stellenbosch to be part of the coaching structure. You must be very excited about that.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I kind of started with them during last season, so I know a few of the boys. So yeah, it's very exciting. It's a great program they're running down there in Stellenbosch, and I'm looking forward to contributing and hopefully getting a few of their bowlers to play in the next level. Go up to amateur level, and then hopefully franchise and who knows, maybe play for South Africa one day.
And Rory, I mean, you've played in various formats for South Africa. You've been on a lot of tours. What would you say is your fondest memories on the cricket field, or rather from cricket?
Yeah, look, my fondest memories are spending time with my teammates off the field. Definitely not in the gym. More off the field, socially, traveling around the world, meeting new people, experiencing different cultures, and that sort of thing. Yeah, I was always one that when I was on tour, I tried to get out as much as I could and see the place and try and experience the culture and try and get myself into the culture, and yeah, it was amazing. 18 years of traveling has been good fun. Yeah.
And in that 18 years stint, let's start off with maybe internationally, and then for Cobras and Province, your favorite roommate, because that's a big thing. It sets the tone.
Ooh, favorite.
I'm with Carl because he doesn't have kit. So I don't know the headspace I'll be in.
Did Rory freeze there?
Yeah, I think he froze. It's tough when we ask roommate questions, Carl.
Yeah, he's off. He's off. He doesn't want to answer.
He didn't
Well,
freeze.
I'm sure you'll be back there. And for anyone who is watching, if you have any questions for Rory, please put them down.
Should I look at some of the comments here, Lewis?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's look at some of the comments. There's a debate going on. Yeah, Jacob Small, Newcastle striker, Shearer, Ferdinand, or is it Amibi? Yeah?
Amiobi, Shola Amiobi.
Yeah, so that's your top three. Who do you say it is? Amiobi?
Well, obviously it has to be Shearer because it's the top scorer. But, I mean, Amiobi is a Newcastle legend, scored important goals. He's not a big name, but he's an icon in the Newcastle.
He just butchered his name and called him Amibi, so... I mean,
but you love butchering names though, Dalin.
You know what? I'm there for butchering names and I own up to it and I will give the name all the respect. But when I say it wrong, I'm like, guys, it happened.
Was the third name Les Ferdinand?
It was Ferdinand, yeah.
Yeah, one of the most underrated strikers, I would say. When people talk about Les Ferdinand, they always talk about he was the best header. Is that a word? Header
is a word, yeah.
Header of the ball. He was class. And he had a lot of goals. So, in my opinion, it's Shearer, Ferdinand, and then Amiobi.
Yeah. Okay, that's dope. There you go, Jacob Small. A very good question here from Shay Jesse Arens. He says, if you join the European competitions for rugby, does that mean that those clubs are allowed to approach our schoolboys?
Well, they're already approaching our schoolboys. Great Bloom seem to have a link with, it could be Montpellier, I'm not sure. I mean, over a handful of our boys already signed there, already signed for French clubs. And although a few of them came back, but I mean, this is already a reality. European scouts are coming to Cravenbeek and handpicking our guys. So we're already there, Shay. We're already there.
I hear you. And just before we get back to Rory, unfortunately, I had to take a call. David Beckham called him. They're good friends. Beckham just said, yo, Rose, hope you're well. Hope life's going good in lockdown. I'll be swinging around to your spot afterwards. So shout out to Rory Kleinveld for being friends with David Beckham. Hashtag BFFs, only teasing. Here's Kenwin Davids is asking very interesting questions. When Rory comes back, he says, Rory, who's your favorite Power Ranger? So as soon as we get him back, we'll find
Anyone
out.
needs to delete that app.
Yeah, 100%, Carl. I couldn't agree with you more. So, Rory, welcome back.
Sorry, I think
Yes, roommate was.
I think ran out of data there.
Shocking.
I forgot to put myself on the Wi-Fi.
That is a rookie error. I mean,
I apologize.
That's fine. You know when the captain says, go to fine leg and you end up at deep swing.
Yeah.
That drifting happened now.
That happens sometimes. You know.
But you have some time to think.
When it's 40 degrees.
Rory, you've had some time to think. Roommate. Your best roommate.
It's a close one between Ryan Canning and Henry Davids. Like I said, Ryan Canning brought some good banter. Henry Davids never really offered much in terms of banter, but was very neat and tidy and just went about his business, you know. So I'm all for the banter, so I'm going to go with Ryan Canning.
Okay, seeing that we're on banter, Rory, who has the worst banter that you played?
Gives it all.
Shucks. It's a close one between Carve and Yaneman Malan for me.
The newbies.
Yeah, the newbies. They think they're funny, but they are actually pretty boring.
you, you laugh because you're a good teammate, but deep down inside, you're like, no, don't tell people that in public.
Yeah,
Please.
please don't say that.
And from your perspective, Rose, working and playing with those youngsters who've come through the ranks over the past few seasons, it must have been fantastic to see their growth and also just being on their right hand side, if it was at mid on or mid off, just talking to them, even in batting and bowling department.
Yeah, look, those guys are all exciting talents. I won't lie. The things they can do in the nets that I've seen, these guys are flipping talented players, and they're gonna do really well for South Africa. Hopefully, they get given the chance to get given enough chances to learn their trade at international level, and then come good eventually. I think often we've given talented guys chances, but not enough chances to flourish. I mean, if you look at Jacques Callis, he I think he played like 15 Test matches before he made his first 100, and then possibly went on to become the best cricketer ever. So I think we're in a rebuilding stage now, and we've got to give guys opportunities and good opportunities to prove themselves.
Rory, when the times we have spoken in the past, I know you like to think about the game a lot. So I have to put you on the spot here, and this whole big debate about Test captaincy. Where do you stand on that?
I think to give Quinny all three captaincies is a bit tough for him to keep as well, and to be captain in all three formats. I know you think he can do it, but I don't think so. I think it's going to be very tough for him. I'd leave him as white ball captain, and I think for me, I'd make Aiden Markham the Test captain.
That's a huge call.
It is a huge call, but I think we've done it in the past with Graham Smith, and it worked out nicely. So for me, my Test captaincy, I would make it will have to be a long-term appointment for me. So Aiden Markram's my man, and Quinny will be both white ball captains.
And you speak so intensely and deeply about the captaincy, Rory. I can see a shift in focus in your eyes when you speak cricket, which is awesome, right? Such an illustrious career, a long one for you. Let's go with the top 3 captains that you played under, because one's going to be difficult. So I'm going to give you 3. Is that?
Yeah, that's fine.
And why?
Yeah. So my first club captain, Ashley Abrams, he was just phenomenal. He was a bowler. He would basically, I mean, if anyone's played at Chaka Road, you know, there's a gale force wind that blows from one end to the other. And he would run in all day from the one end into the wind and allow us just to run down and scare people, basically. And he would just clean up. He would clean up from the other end, bowling into the wind. People would try and take him on. But he was very inspirational. The tough moments he owned. So whenever we were in trouble, he took it upon himself to take the ball and make something happen for the team, you know. So on that front, I would say he was one. Graham Smith, obviously, geez, what a captain. Always knew what to say. Always said the right things at the right time. And also led from the front with his performance. And then it's a close one between Justin Ontong and Justin Kemp, I think. The two of them played a huge part in my career, especially when I started breaking into the national setup. So I'd say 3 and 4, Justin Kemp and Justin Ontong. Yeah.
Rory, you speak about Justin Kemp and Justin Ontong, and when you started out domestically, when you and Vern were dominating domestic cricket, that was a time where you had players you could lean on. Whereas, I mean, now you and Faji retired, I genuinely worry that there is not enough experienced campaigners, guys who have played over 70 first-class matches. I'm worried about South African cricket in that sense. Am I right too, or you think we'll be fine?
No, absolutely. It's a tough one. There's not many senior pros about anymore. But I think if we, with Brexit and the coal packs coming to an end, I think we can get some more experienced players back. If we can spread them around the country, it would be nice. Because a lot of these guys all tend to go to the Titans, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And they just leave out a few national players. They can't even get national players into the team. So I think we have to be strategic, even with the national players. Like I said, there's about 10 or 12 national players contracted to the Titans. So when everyone's available, only if 6 or 7 of them can play, which means a few of them are not playing any cricket. So I think we need to be strategic in terms of placing these guys in the right places. Who knows, even maybe open up another 2 franchises to give guys more opportunity. And, yeah.
And you spoke about Victoria in your previous comment. A great club with amazing history. I was telling Lewis, it must have been so special for you playing in that golden era where you had the likes of you and JP coming through. Ashwell Prince was there, Eugene Molion, Mulligan George. I know I've left out quite a few.
Marcus Stadler.
Stadler, what a veteran, swinging it for days. Just such a special era.
Yeah, it was. A special time for me as well in my cricketing life. Obviously, being part of that team to win the league. I think it was in 99. Yeah, I think it was in Standard 9 when it happened. But just to be part of that bowling attack was unbelievable. Like I said, Ashley would just run in upwind into the wind and allow our stairways just to come down and bowl rockets from the other end downwind. And it worked for us. We didn't play on the best wickets. No, the chucker, we used to leave it green, so it used to be 100 plays, 60 plays, 50 plays, 30. So a lot of games finished early on day 2. So lots of fines meetings.
Good.
But it was good fun. It was good fun.
I want to ask you, who could, in the national setup or even provincially, you spoke about fines meetings, who could really knock them back?
Besides myself. Now there's some good drinkers out there. I won't lie to you. Kempy was a good one. Neil Johnson, he was a very good fines master.
He was a top player as well. Shoo.
And he was a good player, yeah. Yeah, look, there are a few. Herschel obviously knocked them back. National side, we never really had that many fines meetings, obviously because of all the security and all that kind of stuff. In the national side, we'd have like a half an hour fines meeting where you just have a couple of sippers kind of thing. So, so I reckon Justin Kemp probably after myself.
Taking gold. Rory Kleinveld taking gold.
I was thinking, if you look back on your career, what would you have told your younger self if there was something you could have done differently or something you could have told yourself? What would you have told yourself if you could?
Probably be myself more. And play the game how I wanted to play it, I think I did that more towards the latter end of my career where I backed myself a lot more instead of leaning on other people for advice and stuff and took ownership of my game and trusted myself, just backed myself all the way. I did that a lot more towards the back end of my career.
And then this is twofold, Rose, right? Backing yourself, you're preparing for a big game, whether it's in the UK, it's in South Africa, or it's internationally. First one, toughest batsman that you've had to bowl to. Again, we can go with top three if you're keen. And then, who has always been in your back pocket? Always.
Yes.
So the toughest guy I've bowled to is probably Albie Morkel. He dominated me in white ball cricket to an extent where I just didn't know where to bowl him anymore.
Yeah.
he definitely had the wood over me. And then my bunny, I would probably say Dean Alder.
Yeah.
I enjoy bowling to Dino. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just run the ball across off stump there, and he would nick
Yes.
it to keeper to slip.
I'm laughing at that because there was an ODI game in the season that just finished up before you retired when you nicked him off and you gave that glance send off like again.
Again.
So
I got him out a few times.
It's special. I'm glad you could laugh about it.
No,
Rory,
we're good mates. So yeah, it's always good to get him out as well.
before we, because I do want to talk about other sports with you, because I know you're a bit of a sports nut. But who do you keep in contact with from the game? Who are your close friends that came out of the game?
At the moment, probably Dane Pitt. Obviously, JP. I was at school with JP, and we grew up together, playing together through the age groups and all that. But at the moment, Dane Pitt, Viwe Makajima, Dane Patterson, William Hunter. I kind of lost a bit of contact with William, but now since I've been retired, I've obviously had a bit more time on my hands and reconnected with him. But yeah,
you can have play dates now. The little ones, you can have play dates.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay,
once the lockdown's done, look forward to that.
Okay. What were you going to say, Dalin? Sorry.
No, I think we should pick Rory's football brain as well, because I'm trying to get in there.
Yeah. I think we should start with because there's been no football. The biggest news has been the Saudi Arabian takeover of your beloved football club. And as a fan, I answer this as honestly as possible. As a fan, you must be excited because of the war chest that the Saudis have.
To be honest with you, I'm not allowing myself to be excited until the deal is done, because we've been in this situation before in the past, and we've had our hearts broken. So once the deal is done, I'll start getting excited. I just hope they make, if the deal goes through, they make the right decisions in terms of getting the right manager and getting the right players on board for us to move forward.
Do you think that Steve Bruce has done a decent job, though, as we speak?
Yeah, he has done a decent job, to be fair. But, geez, I've fallen asleep a few times watching us play this year, So even under Rafa, we didn't play very good football. But our resources were very limited in terms of playing staff. So hopefully with the new investment, we have a good manager who plays good football, and we can get some good players in. Because that's all the people in the Northeast want, is to see their team play good football.
Yeah. And you've obviously played in England. You watched a few live games at the home ground. What was that experience like? That must have been magical.
It was unbelievable. Obviously trying to get to know all the songs and all that kind of stuff so you can get involved. Yes. So my second time I was a lot better. The first time I didn't have a clue what they were saying. The accents are very different up there as well, so it takes you some time to get used to. But yeah, what a place, what a vibrant city. And they just absolutely adore their football team, So it just made me fall in love with the team a lot more, going up there and watching a few games.
And then I don't want you to answer Shearer. I'm not taking Shearer as an answer. You can even do a top 3, but favorite Newcastle players of all time? No Shearer.
David Ginola, we won.
Here we go, Taylor.
Les Ferdinand.
Ferdinand.
And Roel Fox.
The right winger, Roel Fox. That's very random, Rory. How? Why?
He was very good. He was very good, and then I think he left to Spurs, and then he got replaced by Keith Gillespie, who was also very good.
Also good.
Yeah, so we've been blessed with wingers back then. So we had Ginola on the left, Rule Fox on the right, and then Keith Gillespie. So Andy Cole and Les Ferdinand, they banged them in.
I
They
was
got good
stuck.
service, you know.
Someone asked the question to rate the top three strikers between Shearer, Les Ferdinand, and Shola Amiobi. But if you're a Newcastle fan, the Shola Amiobi thing isn't that crazy because he's a cult hero, right?
He's a cult hero there, so everyone loves him. He had so many opportunities to leave Newcastle, but never took. Almost like a what's a guy from Southampton?
Matt Letitia.
Matt Letitia situation, basically. So, yeah, he's a Geordie boy through and through, and always stayed at the club, you know.
And why Newcastle? Just to first start off with, because
yeah, when I first started watching football, all my mates were either United, Liverpool, or Spurs fans. So I thought I'd go differently, go a different route, and Newcastle were always up there at the time, like in the top four, top five. So I kind of clung onto them, and I think it was '94 I started supporting them. So yeah, it's been a long, fruitless journey.
Yeah. What do you?
Few serious heartbreaks, but yeah, it's been fun.
Each time you ask Rory a question about Newcastle, he starts it off with, so.
Yeah, hopefully there's some good times coming ahead.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of stories to tell from the past 2 decades, but there hasn't been much success. But if we talk about the top teams, sorry about that, where would you rate this Liverpool side in terms of the Premier League teams you've seen?
Now, up there as one of the best, I would have thought. It's difficult because football changes, you know what I mean? When I first started watching it, it was long ball, Wimbledon with John Fashanu and all these boys, like
Vinnie Jones,
bomb long balls, Vinnie Jones, and they used to kick each other. I don't think a few of the footballers these days would survive back then, you know. So, yeah, but I think in terms of the way they play, the intensity they play it, definitely probably the best I've seen.
Yeah.
And then Rose, we got to.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
Sorry, I mean, for them to be 25 points ahead with 8 games to go, whatever the case may be, it's
against the Guardiola side as well.
Against the Guardiola team as well, you know. Yeah.
Rose, just looking at a couple of questions here. They are football driven and cricket, so I'm going to kick off with Mark Ford, if that's cool with you, Louis.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Mark says, Rory, with you joining up with Stellenbosch, you are going to be involved in club cricket. What system would you like to see clubs play? Presently, 50 overs and T20 are the formats. Do you think we could play another format, maybe 40 overs? And do you think Western Province and Boland should have a combined league structure?
I would like us to go back to 2-day cricket, to be honest. It teaches our batters to value their wicket a lot more and teaches them to bat for longer periods. So for me, just the 3 formats would be fine. Or we could possibly get rid of the club T20 competition and put more focus on the CPL, which I think is a good breeding ground for young cricketers to impress and hopefully use that angle to get into higher honors, basically. And as far as the 2 leagues combining, I don't think that's a bad idea, actually. Because I know in the Boerland, it's basically 2 or 3 teams every year that compete for that league. So I think if we can combine maybe 3 or 4 good teams from Boerland into our league, it will be good for Western Cape cricket.
Nice one. And then before I go back to you, Louis, here's one from Jacob Small. First up, Rory, I was telling Carl, I'm so impressed with the way you hit 6s with no backlift. Like the power that you used to generate is ridiculous, right? Like,
Yeah.
big fan of your batting. Big fan of your batting. Hit them long, fella. A couple out of Newton. Loved it, right? Jacob Small saying, yeah, who's the toughest bowler that you faced coming in and wheeling the willow?
Toughest bowler I've faced. Jeez. Battalion Morales. I actually have a clue what was going on, to be honest with you. Sangakaro was actually keeping wicket and he was laughing at me. He was like, what are you doing? But I'm like, geez, give me some pointers here, man. I don't know which way the ball was turning.
I know. It was unfair.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
He could spin it like this much either way, which is just... Yeah.
Did he manage to survive, or did he get your wicket?
It was a T20 game. It was the second last over of the game. Of the innings, we batted first, and he bowled 4 dots at me.
Were you swinging hard?
I was swinging off my tits, man. But I didn't hit one of them. It was ridiculous. I made an absolute fool of myself.
That's a good question.
Great memory, bro. Well done for laughing about it.
That's a good question. Is there any more, Dalin?
We do. We do have a few more. Why Victoria Cricket Club?
I grew up with a club, basically. My dad played there. My uncles played there. My uncle is basically the chairman. He's been the chairman for years. Mr. Patrick Boots Weingard.
Shout out to Mr. Weingard.
It's basically it's a family club. So I was born into it, and that is my club from when I was about 3-4 years old.
I think we forgot to mention that there's a bit of, like, your family is a bit of a cricket dynasty in a Cape Town context. Very much. It's a cricketing family, like, well known. Your father, your uncle was known to hit the longest balls. Your cousin plays professionally. So you have a real cricket legacy in your family. Is there pressure on your little one, do you reckon?
No, not at all. It's nice to see him go on and become a good cricketer, but absolutely no pressure on him to reach the heights that people want him to reach. I just want him to enjoy his life and enjoy playing the game and see where it goes from there. Lucky. I was fortunate enough to play with 2 of my cousins, obviously Matthew and Warren Weingard. So, like, we grew up in the backyard playing test matches, Australia versus West Indies, I remember. And so to play with him for the Cape Cobras was pretty special.
Nice. And then Rose, we got another one from Jacob Small, avid sports fan, really cool guy as well.
I like Jacob.
Jacob's cool, man. He's a Chelsea fan, just by the way, if anyone cares, if there's any Chelsea fan. Clyde, I think
I only started meeting Chelsea fans in 2005.
And City in 2008.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the history, guys? Where's the history? Come on. Jacob wants to know if you'll be happy with Pochettino coming in as coach.
I would like him to come. For me, it's between him and the coach of Leipzig. What's his name again?
Julian Nagelsmann.
Nagelsmann, yes. One of those two I would be very happy with. I like the way Leipzig play. They've got some good, exciting youngsters, so he can come and bring some of those players with him. It's just I enjoy the German way, to be honest. Like, they play good football and efficient football. So, as you can see, Klopp's done the business at Liverpool, and hopefully Nagelsmann can come and do the business at Newcastle.
And I think the style of RB Leipzig, like you said, they're such a lekker team to watch, and I feel like that would definitely resonate with the Geordies, Nagelsmanns now. They would get behind that.
100%. I think they're craving that, to be honest with you. Like I said, Benitez did a great job, but we didn't play the best football under him. It was all about survival and nicking a goal here and there to win a game. So, yeah, for us to get some exciting players and play some exciting football would be amazing for that city. They would love it.
Nice. Listen, Lewis, we hitting the hour mark here. The first 15 hours have been told. I think it's a drinks break soon. Even though there's no drinks because the liquor is not available anymore. We're still having a good time with you, Rose. We're not saying goodbye just yet.
No, it's fine.
But from my side, and it's all these. It's not even a standard question. I'm just fascinated with the experience and the journey. Those top 3 favorite moments on the cricket field, and it's a difficult question because it's a career that spanned about 18 years.
I was fortunate enough to be involved in some good cricket teams. So my first one would probably be winning the league with Vix in '99. That was a big deal, especially like for the community.
Yeah.
I think we were the first colored team to win the league since Unity. And when we did win the league, there were so many people there that came to support us on that day. Came to obviously see us lift the trophy. That was something special.
Nice.
Making my test debut, Brisbane, and having my father there was pretty special. Obviously, he sacrificed quite a bit for me to become the person I am today. So to have him there was really cool. And then winning finals day with North was up there with probably in the top 3 of my cricket achievements. Out of 18 counties for a small county like Northants to go on and win it was something special. At the time, they were also in some serious financial strife. So it was a good time for us to win a T20 competition and be part of finals day was awesome. The concept is amazing. They're lucky that their supporters can travel to Edgbaston from around the country and come and support their team. Whereas our supporters have to fly around the country to follow the team, which is obviously not cost effective. So being part of that day and winning finals day with Northants was pretty cool.
Rory, they really, and I think they really loved you at that county, and I think sometimes as South African fans don't realize how well our rugby players and cricketers do. Like even when Wasps tweet about Nizam Kaur, the fans are going crazy, and I feel like you got a lot of love from their supporters as well.
Yeah, it's like I said, it was a tough time for the club when I first went over. So it was important for us to bring a bit of joy to them because all they saw in the news was how much trouble the club was in financially and would it still be running the next year or whatever the case may be. But Northampton's quite a big sport town. They've got a football team called the Cobblers, Northampton Town, which play in the 3rd division or something.
Nice.
But people go out and support them, And then obviously the Northampton Saints, who quite a successful rugby team as well. So the town's quite big on their sport, and there are quite a few South Africans over there playing rugby and cricket, in the leagues and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was good fun. It was a good 4 years. They looked after me and my family so well in that 4 years. So yeah, it was cool to give something back and perform well for them.
Nice.
And that moment you speak about so passionately, it was a big one for all of us when you debuted against Australia. What does that feel like from the time that you get the nod to say you're playing the next day? When does it happen? 24 hours. What do you blank out? Do You remember things. Your heart and your hands again.
I tell you what, you get told the night before the team meeting, and you don't sleep that night. I was bowling balls in my room and facing Mitchell Johnson in my room the whole night before the test match started. Luckily, my first involvement in the game was only on day 3, so I caught up on that sleep I missed out on. It was a bit weird. It was a bit weird because we won the toss, we batted the whole of the first day, the whole of the second day got rained out, and then we batted again on the third day till just before tea, I think it was. So my first involvement in the game was after lunch on day 3, so it was a weird debut.
Yeah.
Mentally also, just to stay in it was so long.
Yeah, no, it was tough mentally, to be honest. You just wanted to get out there and get going, you know.
Before, obviously, it's going on, but I have to ask: there can't be anyone in world cricket who enjoys facing Mitchell Johnson. I just can't see someone like relishing that.
No.
Is that?
No,
Are you guys scared?
You wouldn't be human if you're not.
Exactly.
But that's what gets you going, you know. It's how can I say that your adrenaline just takes over, and you know you need to be on the money, otherwise you're gonna either get hurt or you're gonna get out. So yeah, it was good fun. It was good fun.
And no, go. Carl's very passionate. I can see when you ask a question like this, Roddy, he gets very passionate.
I know you ask. I'm getting too questioning, too journalism.
Get stuck in, Lewis. Get stuck in.
No, I coming to new setup as like no caps. Is it quite daunting? Because I'm thinking of the dressing room, Smith, Boucher, Colours, and obviously they had their click and all of that. But for a new player, it must be quite a daunting thing to come into it because it's a sports team. You have to prove your worth.
Yeah, it was daunting. I mean, the team were number 1 in the world for 2-3 years at the time. Obviously, Dale, Vernon, and Mornay bowling attack was like unbelievable. So it was difficult to get into that team. Firstly, so yeah, it was nerve-wracking, but the team they welcomed me with open arms and made me feel comfortable. Obviously, my first test didn't go that well, but yeah, in terms of them welcoming me, they were really cool with it. I had a nice ceremony the night before with my to tell me that I'm playing actually. So yeah, that was pretty special. I think Alviro Peterson spoke because we spent some time at the National Academy together. So yeah, it was nice.
Dalin?
I'm just enjoying this moment. I'm taking it in. Rory, your first over on day 3.
Yeah.
Run me through it.
I think I bowled like 4 no balls.
Is that all?
It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare, basically. Just that whole test match was a nightmare. I think I got 0 for 100, and we chased Leather. Michael Clark, I think he might have got 200 or something, 270 or whatever the case may be, and he smashed us everywhere. In Brisbane, and it was hot and sweaty. It's Brisbane's a lot like Durban, so it's like very humid, and it was tough. It was tough.
And what was your last game for South Africa?
My last game was South Africa. I think it was in Sri Lanka, ODI Sri Lanka, Palekele, I think it was.
What's it like playing that side of the world, pitch-wise, as a bowler coming in?
Oh, it's tough as a fast bowler. But enjoyable, like because it's so warm and humid, you can get the ball to swing. But these days, the white ball doesn't swing as much as they used to. So once that goes, you have to rely on other skills, like slow balls and all those kind of things. So yeah, it's hard work, but yeah, very enjoyable.
Rory, you spoke about shining, using your skills. We had a discussion about shining balls and ball tampering and things like that. Now, I'm not asking you to admit to anything like that, but my gut feeling is that all cricket nations and all cricketers are looking for that edge and really test the rules. Am I right in saying that?
100%. Using sandpaper is
that's too far.
That's just stupidity, you know. Like, I know Boucher used to put glue on his gloves, so whenever he caught the ball, he used to just rub it on his gloves and then pass it on. So there are different techniques. A few guys have come up with some interesting techniques. I played with Langers once, Charles Langerveld, where he had the ball, took his jersey off, and under his jersey, he bit the ball. Put the chunk of the ball out. I've seen Afridi do that also when I was playing for Northend, Shahid Afridi. So yeah, a few interesting techniques.
Okay, I feel vindicated. Thank you.
Because the big debate now with COVID-19, the ICC comes out last week and says they're putting a motion forward. They're going to ban using saliva on the ball because it could be a possible way of transmitting the disease and spreading the disease. Is that viable in cricket? You can't monitor that though.
You can't monitor that. I mean, they ban putting sweets on the ball, but guys still do it. What's that?
Have you noticed, or maybe it's just me, Rory, but have you noticed since Sandpaper Gate that the reverse swing in international cricket has come down dramatically?
It has. I think, to be honest with you, it's a bit tedious when the umpires are telling the fielders to not throw the ball in on the bounce and all those kind of things. I think reverse swing is a massive part of the game. If you look at all the pitches around the world, it's so flat, particularly in the subcontinent. I can't see why they would want to get rid of that skill out of the game, you know. I'm all for not ball tampering, but trying to get the ball to reverse by throwing the ball in on the ground, and just allowing teams to scuff the ball up one side so they can get the ball to reverse. So, because especially the kookaburra, once the kookaburra gets to 30 overs, from 30 overs to 50 to 80 overs, it can offer you absolutely nothing. And it's hard toil as a bowler. So, yeah, I'd like to see the ICC rethink the whole thing around ball tampering and reverse swing.
If you had it your way, what leniencies would you allow as a bowler, given the favorable conditions that batsmen always have?
I'd get the sandpaper out. Come on, let's level the playing field. No, I'm only joking. Look, yeah, I mean, I would allow guys to scratch the ball with their fingernails. But once you start bringing sandpaper and bottle tops and these sort of things onto the field, that's defeating the purpose for me. So I'd say, allowing teams to bounce a ball in on the rough areas and using their fingernails to rough up the one side, I'd allow that.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of bottle tops fall out of pockets on the cricket field. Like, what's happening here?
My honest belief is that most cricketers are willing to push the boundaries of the rules. I'm not saying we are cheats, definitely. But we definitely pull. I've been in it.
Anything that can give you an edge over the opponent and help you win the game, guys will do it. And if they can get away with it, they will.
Rory, do you know this was supposed to be a 20-minute interview?
Is it? Jeez.
Yeah.
It's been good fun. I've enjoyed it.
It's been lekker.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure chatting to you, man. We have two recurring questions on the show. One is about the captaincy, and the second one is the new cricket days of our lives / Bold and the Beautiful series. AB de Villiers, should he be playing for the Pro? This is not from us. This is from the fans, Rory. This is from the fans.
This is a difficult one. Look, I mean, AB is an unbelievable player. Probably one of the best white ball players to ever play the game. But if I was still playing, it wouldn't sit well with me. I'd like him. I mean, if he wants to come back, I would say he has to play a few domestic games and prove himself in that way, and then maybe he can get into the squad. But yeah, I don't know. It's difficult. It's a difficult one.
Before we go, what does he really have to prove? Maybe playing domestic games is maybe a loyalty test, but I think I don't think he needs to prove something technically. For me, it's more just like, be clear. Let's have some clarity. Let us know what you're thinking. Do you really, really want this? That's my biggest gripe, because I feel like he's talented enough and good enough for me to make special arrangements for him. But then again, you played at that level. You in that environment. I don't know what the players feel about it.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's difficult because he's basically, he hasn't really been playing a lot of cricket, to be honest. Like he's done stints here and there. So in terms of his form, no one's really sure of his form. That's why I say I'd like to see him play a few domestic games and hopefully get some form there, and then people can say, okay, now AB's good to go. You know, let's go with him. We'll pick him. He's done his hard yards in domestic cricket. However many games it should be, but yeah, I'd like to see him get out there playing for the Titans or whoever the case may be, and proving himself again, and then get selected in that way. But to just pick him from the cold, nah, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced.
Fair enough.
Fair play. We appreciate your.
If you think about it, he's probably going to take someone like Rassie van der Distance place, who's had a really good 12 months, and has waited ages for this opportunity, and he's taken it with both hands. And now AB decides, I'm coming back, and he loses his place. You know what I mean? It's not right.
Rory, we keep letting you go. But I think it's fit to close off. Let's close off with the viewers' comment. Is that fair, Carl?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so Natasha Peterson, she's also part of the St. Augustine's cricket family. She says, what's your thoughts, Rory, on ex-pros going back to club cricket in order to give youngsters an opportunity to learn from them, particularly those who play for clubs but not an affluent school?
Yeah, that's a big thing. I know Ashwell gave back a lot to Vix, helped a lot of our youngsters there, like Warren Weingard and all these guys come through. I tried to do some stuff with Vix last year, unsuccessfully. Yeah, but it's always good to go back and play some club cricket and have fun with your mates there, and hopefully try and impart some knowledge onto them and help them in their games. So hopefully more of the Cobras guys will play some club cricket this year and give back in that way, you know.
Yeah,
we do that. We definitely do.
Yeah.
As we say goodbye, I'm going to let the man who gave you such a heartwarming intro, it left a tear in my eye, formally say goodbye to you. But Rose, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And from a cricketing side, thanks for being a lekker bra, and thanks for being a hero to us, bra. Like, respect.
Thanks a lot.
We really love your work.
Appreciate
Jeepers,
that.
Dalin, how do I top that?
You a sax boy, you'll know how to top it.
Yeah.
Go for it, models.
Well, Rory, you our first guest, and I think you were the perfect guy for this. Like Dalin said, thank you for always being just a lekker bra in the cricketing circles, and thank you for kind of joining us in this new venture that we're on and supporting us.
No,
Always
no
good to have a
worries.
celebrity.
Not sure about that. Dalin's a celebrity.
Jeez, have you seen
True,
this?
true.
The selection to this lives.
But thank you, no, Rory, thank you from us, the three of us,
Cool.
including Clyde, the producer that messes up
Yeah.
a bit. He's very appreciative as well.
Cool.
Hopefully
Thanks
this
for having
we
me,
can.
guys. I really appreciate it. It was good fun.
You coming back?
Good fun. I'll definitely come back.
Okay,
Definitely
We
come
don't have parting gifts, but we can offer your son in future private coaching lessons for free. If he wants throwdowns, we are there. We offer
back.
our arms.
I'll send him your way.
Cheers,
Get
bro. Thank
teaching
you.
that hoik over mid wicket.
Jeez. Club cricket, standard shot. Swing hard.
Shot, Rory, man. Thank you.
Cool, guys. No worries.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye. Here we go, Carl Lewis. We wrap up with Rory Klein as he goes off, and it's been fantastic. That was a lekker conversation, man.
Phew. It could have gone on for longer, but I mean, we've been on for over an hour and 20 minutes. So thank you for the viewers who stuck with us. I thought it was a lekker conversation. I honestly could have gone till at least 10.
100%. My daughter is moving faster than a smoker looking for cigarettes in their household. Jeez. But either way, it's been fantastic. And like you said, I don't think we could have asked for a better guest in Rory to debut that segment on our show.
Yeah.
And shout out to the listeners for pulling in again, man. We appreciate all of you.
And the comments, thank you.
Yeah, we're going to be back with an attempt at the sports show every Thursday starting at 8 p.m. We're looking to start getting guests regularly, and I'm going to learn how to pronounce names. Carl's going to learn how to tell jokes.
Cheers.
Say bye formally now, Carl. Say goodbye formally.
Oh,
go.
Bye, guys. See you next week, hopefully.
Cheers. Thank you to Clyde for starting on time, our technical guy. Well done. He found his inches. Thank you so much. Have a lekker week. I'm clapping because I don't know how to say goodbye on a sports show. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. # no sponsors. Cheers.